Silver moves quietly most of the time. It doesn't usually make headlines the way stocks or cryptocurrencies do. That's why moments like this deserve attention. In a single trading session, silver prices slip noticeably across every measurement, per ounce, per gram, and per kilogram. Not a crash, not a collapse, but a clear and coordinated move lower. For many people watching the metals market, this kind of shift raises a simple but important question. Is this just a normal pause, or is the market trying to tell us something more? Today, we're going to slow things down, step back from the noise, and carefully explain what this silver price movement really means, without panic, without predictions dressed up as certainty, and without hype. To understand what's happening now, it helps to understand how silver normally behaves. Silver is a unique asset because it lives in two worlds at the same time. On one hand, it is a precious metal, often grouped with gold as a store of value. On the other hand, silver is an industrial material used in electronics, solar panels, medical equipment, and manufacturing. Because of this dual role, silver prices respond not just to investor sentiment, but also to expectations about economic activity, production, and demand. This makes silver more volatile than gold and more sensitive to short-term market shifts. Another important detail is how silver is priced. When you see silver quoted per ounce, that price is tied to global trading markets where large contracts are bought and sold. The price per gram or per kilogram is simply a conversion of that same value into smaller or larger units, often used by jewelers, manufacturers, or individual buyers. When silver moves lower across all these measurements at the same time, it tells us the move isn't T, local, or technical. It reflects a broader adjustment happening across the entire market. In the recent session, silver prices eased lower. The price per ounce declined by a modest but noticeable amount. That same downward movement showed up in the gram price and again in the kilogram price. This kind of consistency matters. It shows that the market isn't T reacting to a single trade or brief spike in selling, but instead repricing silver slightly lower across the board. Importantly, this move happened without extreme volume or dramatic headlines, which suggests it may be part of a normal market process, rather than a sudden loss of confidence. So what actually happened? At its core, this was a pullback. Silver had been trading at relatively elevated levels compared to where it spent much of the past. When prices rise steadily, markets often pause. Traders take profits. Short-term investors reduce exposure. New buyers wait for better entry points. This creates selling pressure, even if the long-term outlook hasn't changed. In silver's case, that selling pressure was enough to push prices lower during the session. It's also important to understand that silver trades globally and continuously. Prices are influenced by futures contracts, currency movements, interest rate expectations, and even changes in inventory levels at major exchanges. A shift in any one of these areas can nudge prices lower without signaling a deeper problem. Often, what looks dramatic on a price chart is simply the market rebalancing itself after a strong move. For people who don't trade silver every day, it's easy to overreact to price changes. But silver does not move in straight lines. Small declines are normal, even healthy. They allow markets to reset and prevent unsustainable momentum. The fact that silver remains priced well above many past averages suggests that the broader trend has not necessarily reversed, even though the short-term direction shifted. Why does this matter to everyday people? Because silver touches more lives than many realize. If you've ever bought jewelry, electronics, or solar-powered products, silver was likely involved. When silver prices rise, production costs can increase. When prices fall, manufacturers may benefit from lower input costs. Over time, these changes can influence pricing, supply decisions, and investment flows. For individual investors, silver often plays a role as a diversification tool. Some people hold physical silver as a long-term store of value. Others gain exposure through funds or mining stocks. A short-term drop in price can feel uncomfortable, especially for those who bought near recent highs. But for long-term holders, temporary pullbacks are part of the journey. Historically, silver has gone through many cycles of expansion and contraction, often without warning. There's also the psychological aspect. When prices dip, uncertainty grows. Some people fear they made a mistake. Others see opportunity. Markets are driven as much by emotion as by numbers, and silver is no exception. Understanding that helps reduce stress and improve decision-making. So what could happen next? It's important to be careful here. No one can predict short-term price movements with certainty. However, we can outline reasonable possibilities based on how markets typically behave. One possibility is stabilization. Silver may trade sideways for a period as buyers and sellers find balance at these levels. This often happens after a pullback, especially when there is no major change in fundamentals. Another possibility is a deeper correction. If selling pressure continues or broader markets weaken, silver could test lower price levels before finding support. This wouldn't necessarily mean the long-term outlook has changed. Many strong trends include multiple pullbacks along the way. There's also the chance that buyers step back in. If investors view the recent dip as a buying opportunity, demand could return and push prices higher again. This often depends on broader market sentiment, currency movements, and how other assets are performing. What's unlikely is that a single session defines the future. Silver's story is shaped over months and years, not hours. Short-term moves matter, but they matter most when viewed in context. Zooming out gives us that context. Over long periods, silver has reflected broader economic cycles. It has responded to inflation fears, industrial growth, technological change, and shifts in monetary policy. It has also gone through long stretches of underperformance, followed by sharp rebounds. This pattern reminds us that patience matters. Silver's dual role makes it especially interesting in the big picture. As industries evolve and technology advances, demand for silver can change in unexpected ways. At the same time, its role as a tangible asset continues to attract investors looking for diversification. These forces don't disappear because of a single down session. What we're seeing now may simply be the market taking a breath. Prices don't rise forever, and they don't fall forever either. They move, adjust, and respond to countless signals that are often invisible on the surface. The key takeaway is not fear, but understanding. Price movements are messages, not verdicts. They invite questions rather than provide final answers. For silver, the recent dip tells us the market is active, responsive, and dynamic. It does not tell us that the story is over. As always, the most important thing is perspective. Whether you follow silver casually or closely, moments like this are reminders of how interconnected markets are and how quickly sentiment can shift. The challenge is not to predict every move, but to stay informed, thoughtful, and patient. So the open question remains: is this just a routine adjustment or the early stage of a broader shift? The market hasn't answered that yet. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes silver worth watching, not with panic, but with curiosity. For now, the price has moved. The market has spoken quietly but clearly. What it says next will depend on forces still unfolding. And that's where the real story continues.
Hello friend, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope all if you are doing great and having an amazing day. My name is Noor Baqi and I am really excited to start this new journey with all if you. You know, this channel is not just about videos, it is about story and ideas and inspiration. I created this channel to sharing something positive every signal week. Sometimes we all need little motivation, and sometimes we just need a good story to smile again. Decide exactly what this channel is all about. You find understanding stories, real life experience, and powerful lessons that can change the way you think. I be uploading new videos regularly. So if you don't want to miss any of them, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and press this bell icon so you get notification when you post something new. Your support means everything to me, and to grade we can build a community full of partnership, learning, and good vibes. So sit back, relax, and let us begin this amazing journey together. Thank you so much for watching and welcome once again.